they got into their NCAA previews, and we should have this picture ready to go, bro. Maybe you can find it, but a screen grab that you tweeted out, Aaron, that had all of the college football game day members. So who is it? Herbie, Desmond, I guess McAfee was in on this now. Everybody choosing Alabama, not Georgia, not LSU, but the Alabama Crimson Tide to win the SEC. Kirby Smart once again proven right. The doubters are everywhere. They think Georgia's going to be awful, but look at that. Dez, Pat, and Kirk all going with Alabama as the SEC champion. How does that make you feel?
I'm sure Kirby loves it right now. I mean, this is all the ammunition he needs to continue to build some bulletin board material for his team. I don't get it. I really don't. I am dumbfounded by this entire thing of Alabama. And I went back and just wanted to make sure that I understood Alabama's roster heading into the season. So I went back, looked at last year's roster, looked at this year's roster, just kind of retook some notes of what they're missing from last year, a team that greatly underachieved. Well, this is what you're missing. The greatest quarterback in Alabama history, Bryce Young. You're missing Mr. Do-It-All, Jahmyr Gibbs at running back. Guy that was your best weapon. Running the football, catching out of the backfield, matchup, absolute nightmare. You lose him. Let's flip it over to defense. You're losing your top 5 tacklers from the year before, 7 of your top 10 tacklers from the year before. Guys like Will Anderson, Brian Branch, who was maybe to me the biggest playmaker on that defense last year, Henry To'oTo'o, leader at the linebacking position, DeMarco Hemms, Jordan Battle. Like, there is so much gone from a good team last year that underachieved that we just think with 2 new coordinators, a shift in the identity of an offense, a still ongoing quarterback battle, that this team's somehow going to win a national championship.
Hell yeah.
I don't get it. Like, what am I missing? What am I missing?
Nick Saban.
This is a complete rebuilding year for Alabama. This is the year where they take all that youth, that new identity on offense, and they build around it and they build confidence and they go 10-2. And then next year we're saying, oh my God, Alabama's returning both sides of the football, both coordinators, an experienced quarterback. This is Alabama's year to now get back to winning a national championship. Like, that's the narrative. I don't understand how you can feel confident with all those players that I just listed off that are gone from this football team, that you can say that with that youth and that inexperience, that this team is going to win a national championship this year.
The Crimson Emperor is powerful indeed, Aaron Murray. And you seem to just be seeing that now because people are dumb. Look, changing people's minds when it comes to sports, maybe especially when you're talking about someone that's established the consistency of a Nick Saban, it's like I always think about it like this way. Like, I have a couple buddies who are riverboat pilots, right? So you have these massive, massive ships full of, like millions upon millions of dollars worth of shipping goods on these things. And they have to navigate them through these channels. Think about those boats are, if you fuck up, you can't just whip that thing. Like, you can't just turn that thing and correct course, right? So it's very slow turns. In the same way, it's tough for people to change their mind on this place that we have seen be the model of consistency through the years. And I need to go back and do a deep dive on it. I'm just deciding whether or not I care enough to. But I feel like there's been a couple times where Alabama's, like, maybe some of the teams that we thought were going to be their best ended up not getting it done. And the teams that we were kind of overlooking ended up winning a national championship. Like, did Jake Coker win a national championship? Am I crazy? Am I making that up, or is he one of the ones that lost? But see, that's kind of the point. It's like they've won so many and so much that it's almost interchangeable. Like, all the pieces start to meld into one giant empire.
That was an era where Alabama was just so much better than everyone else. I think the problem is now there are more elite teams in college football than they were then.
So that's what I was going to get
to. There are more teams with the same or similar talent to Alabama this year.
Again, yes, but no, right? Yes, but no. Like, yes, but then at the same time, they're the only one at 90% blue chip ratio.
No, I get
right?
that.
Like
But there's but a
they
lot of
still
that
have the
90%
best
is
roster top to bottom.
inexperience.
I know,
Yeah,
but
but
they
that's a
still have the
lot of
best roster.
inexperience.
Yeah, but you combine the best players with Nick Saban with the benefit of the doubt thing that I'm getting at here. That's been like I still think when I think Seattle Seahawks, I still think Legion of Boom. They've been
Yeah,
awful defensively for years now, or
awful.
they've been waffling, right? I think they were actually pretty good last year with Tariq and all that. But the point is, I still think, oh yeah, that's like Richard Sherman and fucking Cam Chancellor, like because that's how they got burned into my brain in that same way. Alabama has burned in. And again, what's hurting Georgia in all of this is simply the whole idea of Georgia's attempting to do something that Alabama's never done, attempting to do something that nobody's ever done.
Yep.
And that's win 3 in a row. So I think a
But once
combination
again,
of
this isn't a Georgia versus Alabama conversation.
it is though. It is though.
It is somewhat, but I still, you know how I feel about LSU. I've said it a million
Yeah.
times on the show. Like there's still obstacles in Alabama's way before we can just say they're even going to get an opportunity at the big bad Georgia. There are plenty of obstacles in their way. LSU being one. I think A&M's a team that's obviously given them fits the past few years, and I think this is the best A&M team of those 3 years. Like if we want to say Alabama in a nutshell over 3 years, how you would rank those 3 teams based on heading into the season, I would say this is probably the third least talented, least experienced, least confident team I feel of the 3 years of Alabama football, if that makes sense. If I had to rank them, this would probably be 3. For A&M, it's the complete opposite. This is probably the most confidence I do feel in A&M heading into a season. And A&M has had their number for the past 2 years. Not completely, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
yes.
No,
So there's plenty of obstacles in Alabama's way this year before they even think about getting an opportunity against Georgia.
But you're not going to give A&M or LSU the benefit of the doubt over Alabama, nor should you. If you're trying to play it safe, right? If you're looking for a little heat, I mean, we talked about it like objectively on paper, sure, you can make those arguments, right? But when it comes to these national guys that have seen it for a couple decades average, somebody like Herbie that's been on this show forever, you probably start to feel that, look, in the end, the answers to the test kind of remain the same. Right? Like, no matter what you kind of may be thinking, no matter how creative you've gotten, like, look at Dez. Dez tried to take a shot with his Final Four last year. What happened? It ended up becoming one of the
but
best
his Final
football
Four was
memes of the
pretty. I mean,
season.
his Final Four was extreme last year. Like that, he went to
That's
like
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
that was aggressive. Like me saying that LSU is going to win the West is not extreme. They did it
That's
last
true.
year. They've done
That's
it multiple.
fair.
Like you can still color within the lines without having to go
Okay.
completely Des and Howard on everyone. I think the thing is just more baffling to me of why everyone feels like this is Alabama's year is obviously they bring up Nick Saban, but they bring up the fact that Nick Saban is pissed. He's more determined than ever.
Yeah.
That's a fucking lie. Nick Saban is determined every single year to win a national championship. Like, I don't think Nick Saban's spending any more time preparing for this season than he's done the past 3 decades of coaching football. The dude wants to win more than anyone else in the world. The dude prepares harder than anyone else in the world. There's a reason people want to go coach at Alabama underneath him, and it is to get the process, to see what it takes to be a champion. So, like, I don't think
paid by
there's like this, and there is this more lighting of the fire this year than in years past. You can't tell me 2 years ago Nick Saban didn't want to win a championship, or last year. Like, I don't buy that.
So I agree with you on the Saban front. He will remain as sociopathic and determined as ever, and nothing changes. But it does change with how you motivate players, right? Like, I think back to AJ McCarron, what he said in 2014 after they lost the Sugar Bowl to Oklahoma. And he's like, look, we got a bunch of cats here that weren't here for the climb, done lost their way a little bit. You know, they think everything's just going to be fucking handed to them. Sometimes you have these superstar laden teams that can fall into that trap. It's the old thing I always talk about. Wooden clogs on the way up, silk slippers on the way down. It's the very thing that Georgia has to fight against. And so it's not about Nick Saban having extra motivation. It's about him, instead of having to fight rat poison and find ways to motivate his players. For a lot of this offseason, he's got ample ammo to be like, no, man, they don't believe in you. And remember, he's talking to the most talented team in the country, not the most experienced, but a man-to-man full roster basis. He's telling the most talented team in the country, nobody thinks you're good enough. They're
Well, that's
like,
a lie
Georgia's
now,
the new
though.
class.
And those, I'm sure every single kid in Alabama saw Kurt Herbstreit and Pat McAfee and College Game Day crown Alabama as the best team
It's true.
essentially in the country. So like that, all that rat poison shit that Saban's been preaching for 2 months, 3 months, that's out the window now because now all of a
It's
sudden
not out the
everyone's
window.
picking
He's still
Alabama.
got ample. No, not everyone.
No, no, no,
Go
no,
look
no,
at the
no,
responses to your
no,
tweet, Aaron. Everybody's been showing like screenshots from other outlets, and it's all Georgia. It's all Georgia everywhere.
no, no. Everything I keep seeing from College Game Day to all these other YouTube shows, it's Georgia ain't gonna win the SEC. It's Alabama. It's Alabama. When Kurt Herbstreit puts his rubber stamp on it, it's God spoken. Truth has been spoken out to the world.
Kirk is kind of like football god. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Maybe like a John the Baptist. Like he's not divine in himself, but he's kind of clearing the way for
So
said divinity.
that's I mean, hey, that rat poison is it's there, baby. It's back. It's creeped in. All of a sudden, Alabama players slept in a little bit better this weekend. They slept good, dreaming of championships. College Game Day picked us. What's Coach Saban smoking? Yeah, that's the conversation now.